People talk about courage like it's standing in front of monsters. Funny. The monsters I remember most wore teachers' robes. You stood in front of a classroom and hated me before I spoke. 11 years old, scared, famous for something that murdered my parents. And the first thing you ever taught me was that adults could hate children too. You looked in my face and saw my father. Same hair, same eyes, same history. You decided who I was before I ever had the chance to become anyone at all. You mocked me for being arrogant before you knew me, humiliated me in front of entire classes, took points because you were angry, called me attention-seeking when I spent half my childhood trying not to be noticed at all. You think I wanted fame? I lived in a cupboard, do you understand that? While you looked at me and saw James Potter laughing, I was sleeping beside spiders, wondering why nobody wanted me. You hated my father for humiliating children, then spent years doing the same thing to me. You hated cruelty when it was done to you, but when you held the power, you called it discipline. You called it teaching, you called it what I deserve. Let's talk about occlumency. You dragged me into a room alone and started tearing through my head without explaining anything properly. You invaded every memory I had like I wasn't even human. You saw my relatives hurt me, saw Dudley torment me, saw the cupboard, saw me chased, mocked, isolated, and you still sneered at me. Why? Why did my weakness disgust you? When you knew exactly what weakness looked like. You stood there, watching memories I would have died to hide, and treated them like inconveniences. Meanwhile, I saw yours once, one single time, and I stopped because, unlike you, I knew what humiliation looked like. I saw my father hurt you, and I hated him for it. Do you understand how awful that felt? Finding out my father could be cruel, watching Sirius laugh, watching Remus stay quiet. I defended you. I defended you while you were still insulting me. I screamed at Sirius afterward, and Remus too, because none of that was funny, none of it. You think I saw that memory and felt proud? No, I felt sick. People say my father grew up. Maybe he did, maybe he learned, maybe people can change. Then why didn't you let me? Every mistake I made, you treated like proof that I would become him. You never looked at me properly. You looked at my face and decided who I was, because if I wasn't James Potter reborn, then you spent years hurting a child for nothing. You think you're the only person who grew up angry. You think you're the only person who knows what abuse does. I know rage too, I know humiliation, loneliness, fear. The difference is when I saw someone weaker suffering, I wanted it to stop. You saw yourself in me and punished me for surviving differently. Do you know what hurt most? Not the insults, not even the hatred. It was realizing that somewhere underneath all that bitterness was someone intelligent enough to know better. Someone who understood pain perfectly and still chose to pass it on. I tried so hard not to become angry like you, not to become cruel, just because someone else had been cruel first. I failed sometimes, I know that. I shouted, I broke things I hated, but I kept trying, because pain explains cruelty. It does not excuse it. And maybe that's what I needed you to understand. You were supposed to protect children. You were supposed to be the adult in the room. You were supposed to look at an 11-year-old boy and see a child, not a ghost, not an old enemy, not a memory that hurt too much to touch. Just a child. Maybe surviving was always going to hurt. Maybe anger was inevitable. Maybe grief changes people in ways they never recover from. But every time I looked at you, I wondered why surviving had to hurt this much. And every time you looked at me, I wondered if you ever actually saw me, or if all you ever saw was the boy who wasn't there. Because I was never changed Potter, I was just Harry, and all I ever wanted was for the adults in my life to remember